Hey, welcome back to Diabolic Shrimp, the least professional talk show on the internet. I'm your host, best-selling author and comic creator, Josh Grant. And let me tell you, it's fantastic to say that we've been on a nice long break, and we get to come back to you with a brand new segment of the show. We're doing a segment called Monday's Tartar Sauce. And so the last Monday of every month at 6 p.m. on Mountain Standard Time, we are going to be discussing some sort of topic with a slew of guests. We have authors and professionals and podcasters and so we're going to share with you, like we're going to discuss some sort of topic tonight. We get to dive into the deep recesses of horror and discovering what goes bump in the night. And so we get to share with you a little bit about that. We get to discuss. Part of the fun of Monday's Tartar Sauce is it's very interactive. Every one of our shows always is. So by all means, in the live chat over there, it's off to the side. I think this side, maybe that side. By all means, like, jump in there, throw any questions to these people at any time. I will always shout you out. Currently, we already have several people already there. Stephen Burt says, hello, everyone. Hello, Stephen. Fire Assassin single O, I almost said double O, like 007. Single 06 says hello. And so, hello, Fire Assassin. It's good to have you all on here. So, by all means, pace these people with questions. We're going to put them in the hot seat. We're going to do questions to them, questions from our audience, and then at the end of this, we're going to do some visual trivia. And by all means, answer those questions yourself while you're in the live chat. We're all about community here. We're all about kindness. A big thing, if you accidentally stumbled on this channel looking for like a food recipe, since Diabolic Shrimp is a food, this is actually connected with diabolicshrimp.com, my author website. We have lots of readers and authors there, and we like to build a nice community for each other. And a big part of what we do also is some of the money I get from doing these things, I put towards universally good things. And so one of the cool things we got to do recently is about a month ago, the Inspiration 4 crew flew up into space. They're the first all-civilian mission. I got my official patch from that because we helped fund a little bit of that, but mostly what we were funding was childhood disease research, cancer research. And that's a big thing we like to do on this show because those are the true terror things that we want to slay those monsters, the disease, or we like to fund exploration. So we have three awesome guests tonight, and I'm going to bring them on, and we're going to get to show off a little bit of what they've got. So here we are. We have Robert Ottone. Robert Ottone is an author I've interviewed here on the channel before. Check out that video. It's down there somewhere. He has written a whole bunch of horror books and short story collections. Robert, we'll come back to you, but welcome. We have Ingrid Hubert. And Ingrid works with Latrice Carter on Horror Movie Warriors on a podcast. It's a great podcast. I was actually on yesterday. We had a lot of fun talking about the things. So check those things out. And Ingrid's just a lot of fun to be around, just another horror enthusiast. Down below there, we have Latrice Carter. And Latrice, I have to give credit. Latrice is the one that inspired me to make this segment of the show. I've been on a Horror Movie Warriors podcast, which is Latrice's podcast, a couple of times now, and it's just a lot of fun. We get to talk horror movies, and so and it's just a really, really good time. And so all of you, welcome to Diabolic Shrimp. So, all right. Well, let's just jump down really quick. Let's just do a quick check-in with everybody. Latrice and Robert have both been on the show before. Ingrid is brand new to this show, and so she's been on Latrice's show many times, and she's part of that, part of Horror Movies Warriors. So she's the newcomer. It's kind of like the sequel to any show, like any horror movie. Ingrid might be the person that dies first, or she might be she might actually be the murderer, in the end. So we don't know. We'll have to see by the end of this podcast here. So, all right. So let's jump down to Robert really quick. Robert, tell us what's new in your world. You write horror books. So what's new with you? Show us some of those books, by the way, if you got them.
I will. So this is my collection from last year.
Yes. I've reviewed it before.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun, a lot of spooky stuff in there. You can pick that up wherever fine books are sold. I have a wonderful story that I'm really proud of in this anthology called Unburied, a collection of queer dark fiction. And I'm very proud of the story that's in there. It's sort of a riff on the idea of the monster in my closet. And then
Is that your closet back there? Is it in there? It's
and then just in time for spooky season, I have a story in the A through Z of horror. J is for Jack-o'-lantern, and I wrote a sequel to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which is probably my favorite spooky story of all time. So
wow.
yeah,
the big twist this time, he doesn't have a body; he's just a head.
He's just a head.
Riding a horse, you know. So, all right, well, let's jump to our newcomer Ingrid. Fire Assassin 06, by the way, says welcome Ingrid, little smiley face. And so here, I can throw that on there real quick. And so welcome Ingrid.
Welcome to you too, Fire Assassin.
All right, so Ingrid, you were brave enough to jump on this show, being our newcomer here. So Ingrid, what's been new with you? How have you been celebrating this spooky season we're in?
Well, I have been watching a lot of movies, going out with places with my family. Went to a hayride in Temple yesterday or day before. I went and visited with Miss Latrice down in Plano, and we had fun going to see Halloween Kills.
Yes.
And went to Dark Hour Haunted House, and
yeah.
So you've been doing everything.
I had a great weekend.
I've been doing nothing. I've just been sitting in this room staring at this wall. There's a spooky tree on this wall, so that's about it. So, all right. Well, how about you, Latrice? Latrice, welcome back. Latrice gets to be the
thank you for having me back.
Yeah, so she's the host for Horror Movie Warriors. I was on yesterday. That link is down in the description along with Robert's books, by the way. And so check it out if you want to check it out. But Latrice, you get to be a guest for a change again. So
yes.
So how have you been? Do you have anything to kind of show off for show and tell?
I do.
I can't remember if I told you guys to bring anything, so I assumed you had something going around. Sorry.
I got my show and tell.
That's right, Ingrid. You can pull it out later.
I'm not sure if you guys can see it or not. I'm on my phone, and my phone is very.
Oh yes, the nun.
But, the nun. Yeah, this is one of my things that is going to go in my workroom as soon as I get that hooked up.
Is having like an action figure of the nun kind of like also having an action figure of like Annabelle in a way? It's almost like having both.
No, not really.
I mean, it's kind of like a little doll in a way, It's
Annabelle is more demonic than the nun, in my opinion. In my opinion, she's much more demonic. So, it's not the same at all. I would never have Annabelle in my house.
She's actually back in Robert's closet back there. That door needs to stay closed. So, all right, well, let's jump on in. Let's do a few questions here, just in general. Again, our audience, if you want to answer these questions in that live chat, by all means. And so let's get started here, and I'll throw these to you each individually. So, what is your favorite brand of horror? I mean, you got different brands of horror. So you have like psychological horror, creature feature, which is my personal favorite, or whatever Bubble Guppies is. That's a whole nother section of horror. And so like, what is your personal favorite, and just kind of why? I mean, so Latrice, let's throw it to you first.
Well, I was telling you yesterday how, I am a fan of the creature feature. And I am, but I love slashers. Give me a good slasher all day long. I'll watch it. I don't really do the paranormal, and I don't do occult stuff. So I can do paranormal. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I cannot do the occult stuff.
Yeah,
I will get so convicted in my spirit that I cannot do it. I can't. So
Stephen Burt there is agreeing with you, by the way. Stephen Burt's very slasher there. So Fire Assassin said demon, so sorry, you got to be a cult. See, I'm ready. I forgot my little thing. Here's my mask I got years ago, signed by the chap who played Jason there, and so it just kind of sits over here. I've actually never seen Friday the 13th. Latrice was giving me a hard time about that the other day. And so,
you cannot be a horror fan and listen. I can forgive not seeing The Lost Boys. but
Yeah,
not
well.
saying the Friday the 13th. That is a travesty.
Well, Robert asked if he was nice when I met him, and I was like a teenager when that happened, so I was like, who are you? You know, it's like, and I just got the signed mask, but at the same time, very nice guy actually, and like incredibly
that's
nice.
awesome.
So Parrish Randall, welcome by the way. Parrish Randall says slasher flicks. Oh man, we got all the slasher flicks
Hey,
today.
Parrish.
So okay, so. Robert, why don't you jump on there? What's one of your favorite genres, I guess, or brands of horror?
I think probably sort of the weird horror, the weird fiction and stuff. I wrote and published a weird fiction piece on Kindle Vella,
Nice.
which was like my first deep foray into that. But I'd say something weird. So like in terms of movies, like what would be a weird fiction thing? I guess you could say something like Possum, or you could say Saint Maud. Saint Maud would probably be considered weird fiction. That's probably my favorite horror movie of the year so far.
Nice. You seen Rubber? Rubber is that weird one where the tire kills people. I think it's about as weird as it gets.
I had one time show me a fake commercial with using footage from Rubber, and I was like, "That's from a horror movie called Rubber. I'm not giving you credit for that." But yeah, so something like Saint Maud. Yeah.
Nice. I was like, well, how about you, Ingrid?
Oh, well, me, I love a good slasher. I like cult movies like Circus of the Dead. Just like one of my favorite.
Parrish is agreeing with you. He says, or Killer Clowns. There you go.
Yes.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. No.
They are my favorite. This is like my favorite movie because it's great from beginning to finish.
Well, Ingrid's gonna. I think we lost Ingrid for a second there. Sorry, Ingrid.
Yeah,
it's like Ingrid's gonna pan me though because I have not seen. I haven't seen that one either.
Oh.
Well, I think it's an indie film. I think it's an an indie film. I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
it's by Billy Pond, Buddy Bill Pond Productions.
I was gonna say, Robert, you better start reading right now because our horror trivia at the end has a lot of horror movie monsters, and I think both you and I are gonna get blown out of the water by Ingrid and Latrice on this one. I was like, oh man, you even got into the indie films here. Okay, so I'm curious from you all, like what got you into horror in the first place? Like my very first book, actually, my very first bestseller was Pandora, which is a horror book. And for some reason, I started with horror because I'm a big scaredy cat. But I don't know what got me into horror in the first place, but I think it goes all the way back. Latrice and I were talking about it yesterday on her podcast. About The Thing. I saw The Thing and I had this spooky experience of like sitting with like in the chair after I fell asleep watching that, and then my cat's tail was next to me when I woke up, and it's like I thought it was like the tentacle thing. I thought it was gonna kill me, and I think it scarred me as a child, and now it's like I'm like stuck like like watching horror movies ever since. It's like a weird like self-deprivation thing or something. I don't know. It's like therapy maybe. I don't know. So what got you all into horror in the first place? Ingrid, let's start with you this time.
Well, as a child, growing up in the inner city of Chicago, I really wasn't allowed to do a lot of going outside because it was so dangerous and everything. And so my outlets were horror movies, sci-fi, fantasy, anything. But the horror was always my top favorite.
Yeah. Well, I was like, all right, well, how about you, Robert? I saw you. Robert was raising a finger there.
Yeah, I have a question for Ingrid then. So from the inner city of Chicago, so like was Candyman like the thing for you growing up? Because Candyman takes place in the Cabrini Green of Chicago, right? So I would imagine that's like, hey, we have our own horror icon and it's Candyman and he's awesome. So like, I don't know. I would imagine that would be the case. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like on Long Island, we have the Amityville Horror.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it for me, we live not too far from it, so it was really.
I think you mentioned the Candyman, and the Candyman got Ingrid. Sorry, Ingrid, you're going in and out just a little bit. So sorry.
That's
Yeah.
interesting, though. That's interesting. So, so it's kind of funny, Josh. You have people here that all have geographically some big horror thing. So, like Ingrid has Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh no, I'm sorry. Latrice has Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Ingrid has Candyman. I have Amityville Horror.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's
I'm
kind of
sorry.
cool.
And then I'm in Colorado. It's like, we just have
The
like
Shining?
bears or something. Oh yeah, The Shining, I guess. We just have bears.
I know
That's
The
all.
Shining. Yes.
It's a real scary place.
Pretty cool. It's like a happy accident.
What about you, Latrice? What got you into horror?
Well, I tell people how my mom was pregnant with me when she went to go see Halloween, the original Halloween. She went to go see Best Friends, and she likes to tell people ever since then I've been hooked on horror movies. But I think my first horror movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I had to be like 7, 8, or 9 when I first saw it. And I was hooked from that point on, Freddy Krueger, was actually the man while I was growing up. He was the one that was, really scary, but I loved him to death.
Well, and you even have his car there. You showed last time on if you see Latrice's previous video there.
Yeah.
So what about you,
Yeah.
Robert? What drew you into the dark thing that is horror?
In my growing up, my mom was always a big Stephen King person. She literally would buy everything first edition, hardcover, and so horror was always there. And my dad was a big horror guy. His favorite movie was Jaws and Halloween, the original, and so I just grew up watching them. And I loved it, and then I started reading it. I got into, when I was little, I was really into like reading Ray Bradbury and short stories and stuff like that. So it was always there. Horror was like always there for me.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm curious, like, from all you then, since we're kind of a span of experts, and like Robert says, we all have this kind of geographical span, and I'm curious, like Ingrid and Latrice, like experts on the horror movies, Robert, expert in horror books. So like, what makes good, like a good horror movie or book or game? What is it that makes it good? What makes good horror? So Robert, I'll throw that one back to you.
I think if you can really leave somebody feeling uneasy long after they've closed the chapter or finished the story or whatever, then you've done your job. One of the things, like some of the feedback I got on my most recent collection was that I did senses really well, like sense of smell and taste and stuff. And like, I didn't think I was doing a good job with that, but I've gotten a lot of feedback saying,
"Oh, I think you do a fantastic job of it." So.
Thank you. But so like my feeling is when something stays with you, that's how you know it's really good. Like I've reread 2 horror novels within the past year. One of them I read a few years ago. The other one just came out last year, and I finished it, read a novella in between, and then read it again. And both of them where I just can't stop thinking about. And to the point where I'm actually trying to teach one of them. It just got rejected, but I'm trying to teach it with my seniors this year. But when it's something like that, when it's so strong and it stays with you, that's the mark of good horror. Like
True.
there are good slashers that do that. There's good everything that do that. There's forgettable on all sides, but and unfortunately that seems to be like more often than not. But the good ones hang around. Like why Halloween is so good is it could happen anywhere. It doesn't just happen in Illinois. It doesn't have to be there. It could be here. It could be Colorado. It could be wherever. That's what makes it so scary.
Same with Nightmare on Elm Street. There's like an Elm Street in every town, like Freddie says.
Sure.
Yes.
For
Yes,
sure.
there is.
So Ingrid, let's jump to you. Like what do you feel like makes good horror?
Ooh, it has to jump from the get-go. I mean, like pretty much from the start. I mean, I don't slow burners are okay for some things, but for me, like like Japanese horror, or some Japanese horror, or like Circus from the Dead. They start out, I mean, right from the beginning, and it gets my interest. And once start peaking from there, I'm in there, and I'm looking for kills and creative kills and jump scares, and just seeing how everything is, just percolating together, just to make me say, oh, am I going to have a nightmare tonight? And, I'm hoping maybe, that's the way it should be if you get scared real good,
Yeah.
So I am pretty much say that scary movies have to be full of gore, full of bad psychopaths, I guess you could say. And,
there we go. I got mine. He's really nice. He really is nice. It's like super bad psycho.
And just good victims,
That's me. If this was actually a horror movie, I literally would be the victim. It's like I would not be the good victim. I'd be that one that falls over and it's like, wait, guys, back.
I'd come back for you.
I'd
come back for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, Robert.
I'd go back for you guys.
So George Hodgson jumped on. He says one of the movies that creeped me out as The Conquer Worm with Vincent Price. I've never seen that one. I
never have either.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
All right, that might be one for another for Horror Movie Warriors, which is Latrice's podcast. There, it's like The Conquer Worm, George. All right, so Latrice, let's jump to you now. So what about you? What makes good horror? We gotta have that gore and all this. It's like, what?
Well, to me, the atmosphere. I love atmospheric movies as well. If you can make me feel scared just by the look alone, that is good. And a good script, a great script. If you have a great
music,
script,
that's music's Robert's in my ears. Being horror writers, that we are. It's like yes, a good script.
Yes,
excellent.
If you can write a great script and have great actors, that is so good. But if your script is not good and you don't have any good actors, well then you might as well just quit.
That's everything I've ever done there. Latrice, all my work. No good script, no good actors. It's just I'll just throw it out there. I'm in for the B horror movie crowd here, so I'm not trying to make anything.
But you know what? Some B horror is actually good.
No, actually, most people. I actually like horror movies, so
I can Latrice on that one.
Some B horror, especially in the '80s, were really good. Come on.
Yeah, well, it's kind of what made
it's not really good now because, in my opinion, now it's not good because a lot of these actors and actresses, their heart isn't in it for whatever reason. I think maybe they just think that they're going to get a quick buck or something like that. I don't know what it is, but a lot of these actors, their heart isn't as in it as it was. Back in the 80s or even the 90s. I mean, you have Drew Barrymore, who was, she was a big actress before Scream, but she actually was she loved Scream so much that she actually stepped down. She was supposed to be Sidney Prescott. They wanted her to be Sidney Prescott, but she said no. What about if I'm Casey, the one who gets killed? Because, if they think that I'm safe and I'm not, then, it's just going to, just up the ante or whatever, And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying exactly what she said word for word. Yeah. But her heart was in it. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell by her performance.
Yeah.
So, like and we can't forget also like Drew Barrymore was also in the scariest movie ever created, E.T. Actually, that was one of her early ones, and E.T. is absolutely the scariest.
My
So,
best friend says that so much. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell her that you said that.
I have an ET back here. There's an ET just sitting right back here, and I'm absolutely scared of ET. Someone, I had church kiddos that gave that to me, and it's wearing like toe socks, and I'm scared of toe socks.
My
So, all right, I'm
gosh.
curious for
Okay.
you. That's my next question from you is what is the strangest things that you personally are afraid of or have been startled by? Like, what's that weird, like, dumb thing or strange thing that is just like that creeps me out, and I don't know if that creeps anyone else out. So this is the hard question if you have one. So what about you, Robert?
So years ago when I was a little kid, I watched a documentary on the Tower of London, and supposedly the Tower of London is one of the most haunted places in the world.
Yeah, that place is nuts.
Yeah, because
held one of the, it was his name, Hess, when they captured Hess and everything. And so
yep. And one of the more active spirits supposedly is just a disembodied head floating in the dark, and it apparently glows. It just kind of bounces around in the dark. So I've always been freaked out by a white face in the dark. So you can imagine every time I watch Halloween 78, when the light turns on underneath Michael Myers when he's right behind Laurie, that part gets me every time.
I'm sorry, Robert. I'm just this disembodied, like, pale head too. It's like I'm getting splashed with this light in the dark room. So I'll try and keep the rest of these lights on and not freak you out too much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, Ingrid, how about you?
I don't know. Paraphrase that for me again.
I guess like just anything odd or that you've ever been afraid of or startled by, like, whether it's the cat that jumped out at you or what. I was like, are you scared of? I'm scared of horses, actually. And so I need to stop telling everyone I'm scared of here. Everyone's gonna start mailing me horses or something.
Why are you afraid of horses?
A horse tried to eat my sister when she was younger. She's like, we're like standing next to a fence, and she had like a hot dog, and it ate the hot dog, and then it bit onto her hoodie, and was like pulling her into the barbed wire fence. And I had to play tug of war with this horse for like 20 minutes. So horses scare me, and they know I'm scared of them, so they just like run away and just eat flowers or whatever. And so,
that's crazy.
So, but Ingrid, how about you? You got one? It's okay if you don't.
No, I do. I for me is seeing things out the corner of my eye. I mean, sometimes I see things that, that kind of really make me go nervous. A shadow or something moving around. I mean, I've even as a kid, I used to see things. But. Just randomly, or either hear my name being called out of nowhere. Sometimes you're like, where the heck did that come from? I don't know.
Now
sure.
I'm on my screen. I'm right next to you, so I'm also out of the corner. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm everyone's phobia here. It was my goal, actually. I hope Latrice has a phobia of weird bad hair or something. I'll get you all on it. So well, how about you, Latrice? So what's your fear? Let's see if I can manifest that. I've got something around.
Well, it's funny because my sister-in-law always laughs at me because whenever I'm in the kitchen and I could be doing something like either making myself some coffee or just in the refrigerator, and she'll come in, and it seems like she'll come in quietly because I don't hear her, and then all of a sudden she's behind me and I jump, and she's like, why are you jumping?
He's got to put a cowbell on her.
Like, why are you jumping?
I agree with Parrish there.
She'll say, no more scary movies for you.
Well, all right. So Stephen Burt says, the scariest thing for me as a kid was the threat of nuclear war. And so, that's like an actual existential threat. That was like duck and cover over here.
That's talking about zombie times now.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Weirdly, I'm actually radioactive as well, so I'm sorry, Steven. So okay, so here let's jump into just a few of our audience questions. If our audience has any questions they want to throw at these poor people, put them in the hot seat. I also have some that were submitted ahead of time by people, and so by all means, though, throw them in that and throw them in the live chat over there. I will bombard these poor human beings with your questions if you have questions for them. We have to give them a hard time. I was on Latrice's podcast yesterday, and she was giving me a hard time. Okay, I was a guest, and so make sure you bombard Latrice specifically with difficult questions. Okay, so ask her about some weird, obscure horror movie and see if she's seen it. She probably has. So, all right. So my first question comes from this is a pre-submitted one. This is from BN AA. There's like a million eights. BN, you need to change your name. There's like 800 eights in there. If there's that many BNs, find a new one. So BN 8, many eights. What is horror? What is, maybe that's a bot. I don't know. What is horror? I guess we could say like what makes horror? Like what differentiates horror from everything else? So Ingrid, you want to jump in on that one?
Yeah. For me, it's the type of ways that horror is presented. Like Paris said earlier in one of his remarks about the darkness, the scares, the something underneath your bed, type thing, kind of like it has to make it to where I feel like I'm cringing so bad that I'm hurting because I'm that scared. Mm-hmm. I have to be really that scared in order. It's like watching the Circus of the Dead when I first watched that. And
Ingrid, do you have stock in this movie or something? I'm just checking that. That's like the seventh time you mentioned. I'm just joking. I'm joshing you.
Because it's my favorite movie. It's because my favorite movie, and the way that Billy Pond and Randall and all the great actors, Bill Burst Jr. and Chantel Ryan and Felicia Tett.
So the answer is yes. Ingrid has stock in this movie.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I'm joshing. All right. Wait, here. Sorry. Fire Assassin is going to throw out a question here. For these questions, I'm just going to throw them out there to you. By all means, jump in wherever, and I'll kind of play air traffic controller so we don't talk over each other. So that we don't have to go individually, just to make sure we have time to get to trivia as well. I don't want to. So Fire Assassin, let's see. It says, what interested you to start your career, whatever that may be? Because there's a very diverse group of careers on here, and for some of us, horror is just something we're enthusiastic about. So what interested you, I guess, to dive into whatever field you're in? By all means, if anyone wants to jump in there.
I'll go first.
All right, Robert.
I was dealing with a lot of grief after my dad passed away, so I channeled a lot of that into my writing.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Horror seemed to be the way to do that. I didn't want to write like a family drama or a coming of age story. I have written coming of age stories since then, but like that was not what I was vibing with. So I wanted to channel that into that, and it turned into writing. It's not my first career. I'm a teacher in New York State. Like that's what pays the bills. But writing is the passion, and that's what that's what really makes me happy at the end of the day. Like some people have like a normal hobby, like I play golf, I do this. It's like I write. Like I make more work.
I sit in a dark room and write horror flicks, horror stories.
Yeah.
So, Robert, you're a brave soul anyway, and thank you for teaching. But I used to also be a teacher, and so it's a true terror profession, and right, you never know what you're going to be up against. It's like being up against zombies.
I have a good group this year. I'm very lucky. Yeah. I have a good group.
He's required to say that. I bet they're watching. It was probably
today was a rough day with my last.
They were good or else.
Yeah. Who do you want to call out right now? That's joking. And so here we go. We have Kenneth, just Kenneth. It's like Bono. Kenneth, what is your favorite scary movie? Anyone want to throw that out there? We know Ingrid
My
is
favorite scary movie.
Latrice, go ahead.
My favorite scary movie is Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, to me, Nightmare on Elm Street is the definitive horror movie. Wes Craven did so good directing it. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
And the actors were all on point. You know, I had somebody tell me on I forget what group it was, but he was like he liked the remake. I believe better than the original, and you know I let him have it. I was like, dude, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna argue with you about it, but I just happen to love the original, and I think the original actors were good, you know, and he didn't, you know, so it's a matter of opinion, you know. But to me, the actors were spot on. I mean, Heather Langenkamp is superb in that movie, as is Robert England, and as is Johnny Depp. I mean, that's Johnny Depp's first role, and look at him now, you know. So
well, maybe not now. Maybe about 10 years ago.
yeah,
like, he's
maybe
had some rough patches lately.
like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But you know, up until now, he was good.
Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah.
You know, I can't take that away from Johnny Depp, and I won't. So.
Well, Parrish Randall standing up for Ingrid. I'm sorry to be such a. I'm being the bully here. So, he says we the cast of Circus of the Dead love Ingrid, and
Ingrid.
we on Diabolic Shrimp also love Ingrid. And so,
especially movie warriors love Ingrid.
So let's I'm gonna have to check out Circus of the Dead, honestly. I was like, I'm kind of excited.
I think it's on Tubi. Is it on Tubi?
It was on Amazon.
Yeah,
it's on Amazon.
I'll check it out here. So all right,
it's on Amazon too. Okay.
Let's see. We have sorry, some of these names sometimes. Sorry, I give everyone a hard time about everything. I love it. Sish, I'm really sassy lately. I don't know why. Sish Fish. It says gore, no gore. All right, gore or no? Okay, so does horror have to have gore or no gore? What do you prefer?
Oh,
what do you
Miss
prefer?
Ingrid, you're a good one to talk about this because you love gore.
I saw Robert shaking his head, so we'll see.
Gore is a factor for me. I mean, I have to see a lot of blood. You know, a lot of, like I said earlier, creative kills. Way, you know, the psychopaths think. You know, and watching how the victim deals with it and everything like that. You know, so as long as they're, you know, doing their job and they're giving me all that blood, you know, like they did in Stephen King's It, you know, with that one number 2, I believe it was. They had all the blood when help me out, Latrice. What's her name?
I'm just loving Ingrid. I'm loving the bloods. I'm just picturing a blood volcano. Okay, we got the blood volcano.
You're thinking about when the girl was in the bloodbath.
In the bloodbath, and she was
when Bev was
Beverly. Yeah, and she, you know, and she was in all that blood, you know. Or if you get like Halloween with Michael Myers or Jason, you know, all of them that just go and just stick and stab and, you know, and just do all kinds of weird stuff to you, you know, and just, I mean, and I just like to see a lot of, I mean, a movie doesn't always have to be gory to be good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm basically, you know, kind of torn in between because I have seen some good movies that haven't had a lot of gore in it or gore.
Torn leads to gore.
I mean, I'm actually the exact opposite of Miss Ingrid. I don't have to have that gore. I don't, you know, although, I mean, it's good, especially if you want, you know, if you enjoy a good bloodbath, you know.
Yeah.
But however, I like in the original Halloween, remember how Michael Myers like pinned the guy up on the wall in the kitchen? And you didn't see anything. You didn't see any gore. You didn't see any blood or anything. All you saw was him hanging on the door, And
Mhm.
see, that to me is effective. That's more effective than, let's say, somebody in the movie Hostel getting their rib
Oh
cages.
Lord,
Yeah.
that's
So it's
that's
kind
another
of, I'm
thing.
kind of with you on that. As I kind of like more of what you don't see sometimes. But I'm
Yes.
also, we were talking about this yesterday when we were talking about The Thing, and which I think is the perfect horror movie. Is
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's like it should be a lot of what you don't see in that tension, but when you actually see the monster, it should still be scary. And kind of what Robert
Oh
was
yeah.
saying, when it's like when it was like
Mhm.
Halloween, it's like creepy head and stuff. It's like The Thing is an interesting creature. I'm a huge creature feature kind of guy, so I don't mind gore if it's a weird creature feature or something. And
The
so,
scariest
Mhm.
thing
Yeah.
about the thing isn't even the effects and the gore and stuff. The scariest thing in the thing is like, which one of you is not the
Which
one
one? The paranoia.
Right,
The
like,
right,
paranoia
right.
factor.
yeah, I could
Uh-huh.
deal. All you need is a
Unknown.
flamethrower to deal with this thing once it starts getting crazy.
Uh-huh.
But once it gets out into the mainland, it's ball game over.
yeah.
And I actually even like the idea at the end of the movie that neither one of them is the thing.
So you think we were talking about that yesterday?
Yeah, we were talking
Maybe
about that.
Well,
McCready
Go
was
listen to my
the thing.
podcast.
He was the
John
thing.
Yeah.
Carpenter has said that he knows who's the thing at the end of that movie, and he has it in his will that when he dies, it's going to come out.
Oh dear! Like the
Ooh.
actual
Oh
thing is
my
actually going to
God.
come out. So
Oh, that,
it's just
that
going to
would
bust
be
out of him.
interesting.
Oh my gosh.
My mind
John
is on.
Carpenter. He is the best director.
Yeah.
Besides Wes Craven, John Carpenter is the best director ever.
So, and George Hahn is throwing out there for us for a goreless horror movie. How about the
Mhm.
Blair Witch Project? And so, yes,
That's
definitely Blair
a
Witch.
scary
The
movie.
first one. There's been more apparently. I need to watch more of them. I guess.
There's a
I don't know.
Yeah,
video
they
game.
have.
Yeah.
There's
There was
been
actually a video
second
game.
one, and then a reboot. I think they had just two, and then the reboot came out not too long ago, like
Oh,
in
yeah.
2016 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I do like a good like kind of suspenseful one. Not that one because it shook so much and I get like motion sick. So that is the real
Yeah.
scary thing is motion sickness. That'll get you.
Mhm.
All right. So here we'll jump back to a few questions here in a second. I do want to take a little time and do some trivia. So let's dive on in. So for this trivia thing, what's going to happen is all of you are in the horror movie here, right? And so don't show each other any compassion, right? You just got to dive in because we're going to figure out who is the real master of terror here. Okay, so you literally get that title for a whole year because it's going to be a whole year before we have another horror genre Monday's Tartar Sauce. So you're battling
Wow.
to see who gets the most points here. I'm going to keep track, and so I've got it down here on my sheet who has which points, and so I'll let you know how it's lining up here in a second. So what's going to happen is I'm going to throw a picture up there. Hopefully you all can see it. If you can't see it, let me know and I'll just give you verbal clues. And you're just going to say buzz. Or, okay, you gotta do it like that. Buzz. All right.
Buzz.
Or you can give your best like horror movie scream like ah. All right. And also I'll call on you and you have to match the picture of the you either have to say the monster's name or the movie or book or whatever they're a part of. Got it? So, and we've got some pretty obvious ones. I hope we have some challenging ones for you. And so, are you ready?
Yes.
Ready to go.
Ready.
Let's practice. Everyone give me your buzz.
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 Oh, Robert's on it. Okay, so we'll see. Sorry. Ingrid really got me with hers. All right, here we go. This is gonna be fun. So I hope it works. Diabolic Shrimp is always an experiment. So let's see if the technology works with me. So this is why we're the least.
That makes us lab rats.
You literally are. It's kind of like a weird
What's
sausage.
scarier than that?
Right.
That's right. I'm trying to get all the phobias here. All right, I should have wore clown makeup. All right, you ready? Get set, and hopefully this shows up for you.
Buzz.
Cricket time.
All right, Robert got all right, Robert. Hey, don't shout it out. Latrice, you got a buzz first. All right, Robert, what is it? Oh yeah, our audience can guess as well.
Frankenstein's monster.
All right, we got Frankenstein's monster. Anyone know what his name is technically in the book?
Oh.
Oh no, I forgot.
Use it all the time.
It's actually really obscure, but if you look at it, it's I believe, and I could be wrong. Shout me out if I'm wrong on this, but it's been a while since I read it. But it's actually Adam. He actually named him Adam. Is the name of the creature, or the fire assassin says the monster. So
That would sound about right. Yeah.
all right.
It is right. Yeah, it is Adam.
I like to think so.
I have no idea.
It's reaffirming me. That's my greatest fear, is being wrong when I tell people stuff. I used to be a god before Google. I used to tell people stuff, and everyone's like, "That's interesting." Nowadays, they Google it, and they're like, "Oh no, that's actually a myth." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, all right, you ready? Here we go. Right when Robert's drinking water.
Sorry.
Bud.
I got Ingrid on that one.
Michael Myers,
Mike
Halloween.
Myers. The only thing scarier than the actor named Mike Myers. And so, all right. Anyone know what his mask actually is?
William Shatner.
William Shatner. That's right. It was Captain Kirk mask originally. All right, here we go. Now he's gone to space, so he's like Mike Myers is floating over us now. So, all right.
Buzz.
Oh, Robert.
That's the creature from Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
His name is the Pale Man, and he's absolutely horrifying.
Man.
That movie disturbed me on many levels.
Mitch McConnell.
Very disturbing.
All right. All right, Ingrid.
Hellraiser.
We got Pinhead there, and whatever
Pinhead
that is in the background.
and look like some kind of double looking twin.
It might be from the fourth one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the newer one. Buzz.
All right, Robert.
Nosferatu.
Oh no, Latrice. All right, Latrice, I'm going to throw you a bone. So you get dibs on this next one, okay? I know it's harder for you to see. You're on your phone.
Yes. Buzz.
Go for it, Latrice.
The creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ding, ding, ding! You got it. It's the guy who filmed that had to hold his breath for like 8 minutes at a time. Like he was literally holding his breath. He didn't have an oxygen tank. He would actually swim underwater. The man is an actual creature, and so. Maybe we got Robert on that one.
Cloverfield monster.
Monster.
Yes.
All right. So. Yeah, and Latrice, let me know if it's really hard to see. I can start giving you some verbal clues at a time. I'm not going to let you just get eaten by monsters.
Yeah, it is kind of, because my phone is so small.
Oh my Lord, you got me on this one.
This is a toughie. It's recent.
Oh my
Buzz.
Lord,
Robert. Is that the thing from Underwater?
From Underwater, it's Cthulhu's children from Underwater.
Let's go.
Okay.
So, check it
Wow,
out. It was okay. It was okay.
Robert is good.
That movie is phenomenal, by the way. Everybody should watch Underwater.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
Oh, it's great.
So.
Okay. I can't even see it. I can't see it.
That's Alien, the face hugger.
Face hugger. All right, Latrice, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you all a clue ahead of time, and then when I bring up the picture, you all say Buzz. Got it? All right, so that is the face hugger. And so when they were filming that scene, they actually didn't know what was going to come out of the body, actually. And so when they actually busted through the body with the little face hugger thing, or the little chest burster, it actually their shocked reaction was an actual reaction. All right, this next one is an iconic creature. It's a hunter of some sort.
Buzz.
I'll give it to Latrice. All right, I'm gonna throw her a bone. I told you all not to have compassion, but I'm gonna have a little bit of compassion. What do you got, Latrice?
I think I see the Predator.
That is the Predator.
Yeah.
You and everybody else in that movie, they're like, I think that's the Predator. It's kind of invisible.
I think that is the Predator.
All right, this next creature is iconic. It's not limited to just one thing, and so it's from literature. It's one of the most well known of the Eldritch Tears.
Buzz.
We got Robert.
That's the Great Lord Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Don't wake him up. Or his children. Yep. And so, all right, this next one is my all-time favorite monster ever. It's You Never Know. Or I guess the movie it was in, the slogan was man is the warmest place to hide.
Buzz.
Oh,
Robert.
I'm sorry, guys. It's The Thing.
yeah,
is The Thing.
That's the new one, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
it was from
that's
the
new one,
from the prequel, the 2011.
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
Fire Assassin says Doctor Who. Yeah, where's our audience? Our audience is not keeping up with answering these. They're watching. I can see you. All right.
Little thing about the prequel of The Thing. The director wanted to do everything practical. He really wanted to do everything practical. And Universal was like,
Yeah,
no, that would be
they-
way too
What?
bad. He was like,
Oh
it
my
was rough.
God.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
no.
well,
no,
you know what's
no,
crazy?
no,
It
no,
was
Maybe
no.
that's
crazy.
why it wasn't as good as the first one,
Yeah.
because
It would have been.
CGI
It would have
just
been a
makes
lot
everything
it
better.
would have been
worse.
it's not bad.
It would have been a
It's
lot
really,
better.
It's a good movie. Like the prequel's a good movie, but it would have been better if everything was practical for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Here,
Yeah.
Latrice, I'll try and make this bigger for you. There, can you see it a little bit better?
Okay,
That
I can see it a
almost
little
looks like
bit
it
better.
might be practical. That almost looks like it could be like.
Well,
a statue
here's
of
the
a-
thing though. It's
Yeah,
like
it could be a little bit.
they actually built the things and they actually filmed a whole chunk of it with the practical effects, and then but then the problem is like like I don't know why they like you said, the studio was just like, no, we need CGI. And it was just rough.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna throw this to Latrice next because of what she brought for show and tell.
Oh.
Yeah, click on it again.
Oh, The Nun.
Ding ding ding! Latrice got that one. It's
The Nun.
all right. This next one is one of the most well-known monsters of all time. It's been many things. It's in my upcoming comic. Oh, Robert's quick to the draw on that one.
It's a zombie or a walker of some sort.
Zambies. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got Zambies.
Bambies.
Zams. And so, all right. This next monster is rather kind of obscure, actually. So I'm curious to see if you all get it. Brought to you by Oats Studio, the same person who did District 13, right? I think it's called District 13. So
Buzz.
Robert.
That looks like the thing from Quiet Place, maybe.
No, good guess. Actually, I forgot to put Quiet Place in this list. Sorry.
Oh,
This is a really obscure one, but it's actually a really good short film if you get a chance. It's free. It's free on YouTube. So, all right, this one goes to us. Our audience said Zombie Walking Dead. I think that was from the previous one. It also does kind of look like something out of The Walking Dead. So
Yeah.
that is the Zygote monster from the short film Zygote. If you haven't checked it out, look it up on YouTube. It's about 40 minutes long. It's really good. It has Dakota Fanning in it and as an adult, and it's like it's horrifying. It's like The Thing. It's
That's
really
creepy.
nasty. It's a really creepy one. All right.
Oh my
Let's see.
God.
I'm about to
Next
check it
up,
out.
for those in our audience that are scared of clowns.
Eh,
All right, Latrice, you got that one.
It.
So it is from It. What's his actual
Yeah.
name?
Pennywise.
There you go. And
Yeah.
so, all right, we got Pennywise. All right. Fire Assassin says, that thing seems nice. I'm going to have a weird flesh creature as my pet. I think you're confused, kid. So, all right. Next up, we just have a couple more here since we're running out. George Hahn says Buzz. I think that's the real monster. They're all Buzz. That's actually the answer.
Awesome.
And so, all right, next up. Oh dear, we might have to throw this one back to Latrice as well. So here you go, Latrice.
Oh,
Freddy
There you go.
Krueger.
There you go. We got Freddy. All right. Now I'm done taking compassion on you. Okay, I was nice.
Okay,
to you.
yes.
Just remember that
You
next
don't
time
have
on your
to.
show. Next up is a movie I've never seen yet. I weirdly have paraphernalia from.
Buzz.
Robert.
Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees. All right. Next up, we have a very famous Cronenberg film.
Buzz.
Ding.
So, Robert. Oh, dear, Robert.
The Fly.
Outside.
The Fly. Oh, that is a nasty movie. So,
Yep.
So, all right. Next up, we actually have another obscure monster. I'm curious to see if you get it. Knowing Ingrid and Latrice have seen far too many movies for their own good.
Buzz.
Oh,
Oh, Ingrid got that one.
yeah.
That's Jason Voorhees' mother.
That is Jason Voorhees' mother, Mrs. Voorhees.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Spoiler alert for everybody. Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
that's the real monster. That's the thing. And so,
yes.
all right. Next up is another kind of moderately obscure one. This movie made me mad. I don't know how that's a good hint. Don't go shopping in a grocery store with weird people. Oh, Ingrid got that one.
The Mist.
The Mist. Oh,
Yes. That movie.
Just watch the beginning and then
crazy.
give up. Don't watch it all the way through. You'll be angry the
Yes.
entire
Oh
next
my
day.
God.
Yes,
It
you
made
will
me
be.
mad too, Joshua.
Mhm.
All right, this next monster's real name is Bruce.
Buzz.
All right, Robert.
The shark from Jaws. Bruce.
The shark from Jaws. Its real name is Bruce.
Yeah,
That's what the cast
Bruce.
refer to it as well. Man, sorry, I looked away from the live chat for a second. Our audience is on fire for this. They really got this down. And so, they're answering all of them. Robert, no cheating. I know you can look at the live chat. No one else can. So, all right, this next one may be a little bit obscure for you if you don't like video games. This creature is dangerous. Whenever you see it, you run for dear life. You don't want to end up in this small town.
Buzz.
Oh man, that was a little bit of time I'm going with Robert on that one.
Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2.
Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. So yes, and if you go to any cosplaying convention, you will see somebody dressed up as Pyramid Head.
My favorite.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Monster so far, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up is this creature is about to appear in a movie coming out next month. Actually, coming up here in November. It's a very famous pop culture.
Buzz.
All right, Robert on that one.
I'm sorry, that's the liquor from Resident Evil 2.
The liquor. This is Robert, by the way, who said he'd come back for me as I'm screaming and dying, and here he is, like, I'm sorry, guys, Buzz. And we're gonna go with our last one just because we're running a little bit low on time, and I want to, but Ingrid has to get this one.
Candyman, Tony Todd.
There you go.
Yes.
Now say it a couple more times while you're at it, Ingrid.
No way.
Candyman.
So,
That was
all
a cool
right.
picture of Candyman, too. He's the handsomest and most charismatic of all killers.
Yes.
So, no, that's me. I already said I was the monster.
Oh, that's I'm
There
sorry.
you go, Robert. No, get off my show. No, just joking. So, hey, it looks like Robert is the Lord of Nightmares. You get to be the Lord of Nightmares
Yes,
for
he
the
is.
coming
Yes,
year.
Yes, he
And so-
is.
I think he was cheating. He was collaborating with your audience. I see answers down there. But well, unfortunately, we are running a little bit low on time, and so this was a blast. Honestly, thank you all
Yes, it
for
was.
coming on.
It
Thank you
was.
to
I
our
loved
audience for coming and spending a little bit of time with us. Please do, as our audience, go check out Robert's books. They're in the link down below in the description. Check out Horror Movie Warriors. It's an awesome
Yes.
podcast. If you're enjoying all things horror movies, definitely come hang out with Latrice and Ingrid on that one. Their link is down below. They also have a group on Facebook. And so thank you all. Stephen Burt says, thank you all. This is a lot of fun. Thanks, Stephen, for hanging out and
Thanks,
being a part of that. And
Steven.
so
Thanks,
Yes,
Paris.
thank
So-
you so much.
Fire Assassin
Thanks,
06.
Fire
Bye,
Assassin.
everyone.
Thank you for tuning in for Horror Movie Warriors. I
Yes,
think
and-
he's a member, right?
I think
Ingrid,
so. Yeah.
Kevin Wallace. Thanks, Parrish, for showing up as well. It says love to Ingrid and Latrice. Forget the
Love
rest
to
of
you,
us. All right,
Parrish.
Parrish. Just joking. I'll definitely check out the film though. I'm actually excited to check it out. So yeah, well, thank you all for coming on and being part of this. Is our inaugural Monday's Tartar Sauce, and so thank you all for being a part of it. And definitely come back and visit. We're here every month, and then have sporadic interviews in between here on Diabolic Shrimp. And
oh yeah,
for anyone,
I'm gonna be tuning in, Joshua.
Oh,
so.
yes.
And George
Me
George
too.
says bye.
George.
Lots of fun stuff. Hey,
Bye, George.
just appreciate everybody. So appreciate all of you, all my guests. And if anyone wants to help us out in just a big free way, like, subscribe, comment down below. I will always pass on comments to Robert or Ingrid or Latrice. We're here to support them as well. We're a big time support community for each other and caring for each other. So definitely do that. Ingrid, Robert, Latrice, thank you again so much. And for everyone else, sorry, we're running low on time. That's why I'm speeding on through this. We're running out of time, everybody. The self-destruct has been activated. So it's just like an actual horror movie. So, all right, well, thank you all for coming. We'll check you out next time. This has been another Diabolic Shrimp. Have a good night.